We're talking about music. We're making it easy. This is music made easy.
Hello, my name is Ryan Kazda.
And my name is Atharva Iyer.
And this is
Music Made Easy.
What are we getting into today, Atharva?
So last week we talked about major scales, and then we talked about major triads, chords, and arpeggios. And we started off this week with minor scales, so fittingly we're going to talk about minor chords, triads, and arpeggios as well.
Cool, alright. So kind of the same progression of ideas last week that we're doing this week again, just now focusing on minor. So let's get into triads. What are triads in terms of minor?
So there is only one difference, and that comes from the sound. So naturally minor sounded sad when we played the scales versus the happy major. So the chords and the triads and the arpeggios are going to sound sad compared to the happy chords, triads, and arpeggios from the major. However, when you're constructing them, there is no difference. You're just using the 1, 3, and 5 from the minor scale.
Exactly. So since we're kind of dealing with those numbers, let's actually number a full scale so we can kind of get the full picture here. If we take a look at A minor, and let's just deal with natural minor. As you remember, there's 3 different types. The cool thing is the triad stays the same for all of those types, which we'll kind of get into in a second here. So with A minor, we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and A, right? No flats or sharps, so when we number it, A would be 1, B would be 2, C would be 3, D would be 4, E would be 5, and so on. All we care about, though, is those first 5, because, as Atharva mentioned, we use the first, third, and fifth scale degrees to construct our minor triads.
Hence why the minor triad stays the same for all 3. Because remember, from the melodic and the harmonic, for harmonic you sharp the 7th, for melodic you sharp the 6th, 7th going up, and on the way down is natural. But we don't even deal with the 7 or the 6. So that's why the triad for all 3 minors stay the same.
Exactly. So let's look at an example here. How would we construct an A minor triad, Atharva?
So how we construct an A minor triad is we have to start with the similar steps with the scale. So you probably already know how many sharps or flats there are in the A minor, but just to be safe, we're going to do the pattern that we always do. We're going to go up 3 half steps from A minor to find out its relative major. So up a half step B flat, up another half step B, up another half step C. So in C major, as you guys know by now, there are no sharps, there are no flats. So we can go back to the A and treat it as the minor, and we take the first degree, which is A, take the third degree, which is C, and take the 5th degree, which is E. If you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you get A minor. So that crunchy, dark sound, that is your A minor.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at another example now with maybe D minor. So D minor, and let's kind of look at it through the parallel perspective. So parallel, once again, meaning same note. So with D minor, if we were to look at the parallel major, we'd be looking at D major. So let's take a look at the first 5 notes of our D major scale. We see it has an F sharp in there, right? Because D major, it has 2 sharps in its key signature, F sharp and C sharp. When we just look at the first 5 notes, all we see is that F sharp, and that's actually an important note that we're going to modify here. Because remember, we use the first, third, and 5 scale degrees of a minor scale, but right now we're looking at a major scale. So what do we need to do? Well, there's a kind of very easy formula. You just flat that 3rd scale degree. So bring that F sharp down a half step. Now you have F natural. You still take the normal 1 and the 5 of the major scale. So you have D, F natural, and then A. So playing together, we have our D major triad, or our D major chord.
D minor, that is. Oh! That's all good. Don't worry, because we flattened that 3rd. If we kept the 3rd, that'd be major. This is the minor.
Silly, Ryan.
It's all good. And notice how he said chord, because remember, all triads are chords, but not all chords are triads. So this is technically also a D minor chord. Now, going on to the arpeggio. So last time we also finished the episode kind of with arpeggios, and that's what we're going to do today. So with the arpeggios, the same thing applies. For me, we're going to do an F sharp minor through the relative minor route, actually. So we have F sharp. So just to make sure and find out how many sharps there are, no flats, remember, because it said F sharp in this key. So F sharp to G, half step, G to G sharp, half step, G sharp to A, half step. So it's an A major scale that we're using to do this. So with the A major scale, we need to know that there's 3 sharps. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, the first 3 in the order of sharps, F, C, G. And so then we have to go back to F F sharp. So we take the first 5 scale degrees, which is F sharp, G sharp, A, B, and C sharp, and then we only take the 1, the 3, and the 5. So in this case, it's F sharp, A, C sharp. So with that being the case, F, A, C sharp, now we can play them as a melodic idea rather than them come together like a chord or triad. So going up to the F sharp, that's what I did there. And you can play these up as far as you want, as low as you want. They're a good way to practice your dexterity and your flexibility, but F sharp, A, C sharp are the 3 notes for your F sharp minor arpeggio.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at another example now through the parallel perspective, kind of similarly organized here. So we have the G minor arpeggio we're going to be dealing with. So G minor, we're going to look at the parallel major, which is G major. So we have G major, the first 5 notes you see are G, A, B, C, and D. You know, pretty simple. There's no sharps or flats. The one sharp that is in the key of G is the F sharp, but that's the 7th scale degree. We're not worrying about that at all. So we have G, B, and D as our 1, 3, and 5, but remember that's for the major triad. So to make it minor, we flat the 3rd, bring it down a half step. That B then becomes B flat. So playing G, B flat, and D, we kind of have that arpeggio sound. As Atharva mentioned, we can extend it, going up and down with it. Another sound that you hear a lot in different types of music, and it's a great way for people who maybe your instrument cannot play more than 1 note at a single time. It's a great way to kind of practice still kind of hearing that sound of a minor chord.
So let's recap the video. We talked about minor triads, and notice how the minor triads are chords, because triads are chords, but not all chords are triads. So we talked about the minor triad, how it's just a minor and more sad sounding version of a major triad. So we still use that 1, 3, 5. The only difference is the sound that it produces, and we use a different scale. And then we talked about through the relative way how we can find the relative key signature, and then work our way backwards and find out which has how many sharps, flats, and we can construct the 1, 3, 5 again.
And then we talked about kind of arpeggios a little bit. A lot of kind of parallels, a lot of similarities between the major kind of stuff we talked about last week. So major, minor, triads, arpeggios, those exist in all types of music, you know. Kind of listen for them, practice them. We hope you kind of got something out of these 2 weeks going over those 2 main types of major and minor. There's actually a couple more we'll get to later, but sit tight.
Yep. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section below. As usual, guys, please like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. See you later.
Bye, guys.
We're talking about music. We're making it easy. This is music.